Welcome back, guys. I got a couple NES mods here to show you today out in my workshop. The first of which is a component modded and S-Video modded NES. This I'm doing for a buddy of mine. I'm going to send it out here tomorrow. So I figured I'd give you a peek of the guts, let you know what's going on. So pretty much following the same basic mod as my original NES RGB mod. The only thing I've added is not only do we have to output RGB, we need to amplify it, and then we need to convert it, because component video is not RGB. Look it up. So we'll take a look in here. Added connectors to everything to make it easy to get in and out of the guts. So I replaced PPU here. We're pulling the RGB off of that. Runs into a video amp, the Ultimark video amp. You can find it on their site if you look pretty hard, which then goes into a JROC 4.1 encoder, and that JROC converts the RGB to component, S-Video, and composite. To power those, I'm using my own 7805 voltage regulator, and I just tap the 10 volt AC I'm getting there where the existing 7805 gets its power. And have its own heatsink and caps, so I'm not drawing all the power off the original one because these both run off 5 volt. Distributes it out better. This doesn't get nearly as hot. I tried to run them all off there and it just was too much, so definitely need to have some other regulator. Using a sink cleaner here, and I'm pulling the sink right off the chip, off the last pin there, and it's another board by JROC. In and out, you know, pretty easy to hook up, runs off 5 volt. Then I am running off the main board, which runs off its original voltage regulator. It's small, it doesn't really, you know, it's a negligible draw. These are much bigger and much bigger draw, so definitely need their own power source. The wall brick it comes with does like 1.5 amps. I think when I hooked it up to my amp meter, it was drawn 0.5, 0.6, so this additional shouldn't be too bad on the original wall brick. That's pretty much it for the component mod. So you know, you have to pretty much pull out the old PPU, put in a socket, put in a new PPU, grab the RGB right off of that. It needs to be amplified, and then you'll have an amplified RGB. European guys can just hook that right to SCART. Us US guys have to convert it to something that can be used on our TVs, which is component here, or S-Video in this case, which is going to need one of these boards here. So that's pretty much it. And you can just fold it down, hook up one connector here, and you're ready to go. Pretty simple. Nintendos are pretty simple, so. Although the hardest system to get RGB out of, or one of the hardest, the TurboGrafx and Genesis output it already, so if you have one of those, you're in luck. My other Nintendo I wanted to show you doesn't look much like a Nintendo anymore at all, and this is a JAMMA Nintendo I've been working on. It has a standard JAMMA edge connector to go in an arcade cabinet. So same process as with the component NES here. We're going to put the PPU out of a Play Choice or Versus game, so we can pull the RGB off of that and then amplify it with the same Ultimark VGA amp to take that 0.7 1.0 RGB and amplify it to 5 volt. That's important for the arcade monitors and the JROC board to get that 5 volt RGB. Otherwise it's too dim. You can adjust it somewhat, but it really needs to be brought up to that level. That's what it's expecting. This up here is a controller interface circuit I built. Basically it's two Nintendo controllers. On the JAMMA edge connector here you have micro switches that are on or off. In the Nintendo controller you actually have a circuit that needs pull-up resistors to either be on or off. They're always on high, and when you push the button it needs to be set low. So that's why it needs a circuit here. Like the Neo Geo or other ones, they just have a simple on-off circuit you can tap. It's much easier. But this needs this interface circuit with the IC here and then the pull-up resistors. And that's just wired to where the controller ports would be. I noticed probably took off the bottom edge connector too. That gives me, it was never used, or to my knowledge, and it gives me more room to mount all my mods in here. Socket mounted the CPU as well here, just for fun. And that's pretty much it, the mods on this one. This can go right into an arcade cab. I need to work on the sound. So once I have the sound worked out, this should be able to be popped into a pretty slim project box that's weighted on the bottom and be a nice little vertical NES. Should be pretty fun. We'll have more of that to come, hopefully. So that's the projects I've been working on: the component NES and the JAMMA NES from the Mad Nintendo Lab.